Now, until 1986, there had never been an advert on television for sanitary towels, until Claire Rayner campaigned for more honesty and showed an actual towel in 1991, it was all a bit confusing. Dr. White's did it first, and Bodyform were the ones who had the skipping, jumping, nobody needs to know you're having a period ad with a heavy musical background. The memory of those ads has prompted a guy called Richard Neal to accuse the company of confusing a teenage boy. On their Facebook page, he wrote how jealous he'd been of women who could have such a thrilling time at that time of the month. But then he says he discovered they lied when he got a girlfriend. Bodyform responded.
We read your Facebook post with interest, but also a sense of foreboding, and I think it's time we came clean. We lied to you, Richard, and I want to say sorry. Sorry. What you've seen in our advertisements so far isn't a factual representation of events. You're right. The flagrant use of visualisation such as skydiving, rollerblading and mountain biking, you forgot horse riding, Richard, are actually metaphors. They're not real. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but there's no such thing as a happy period. The reality is, some people simply can't handle the truth.
Well, both Richard and the supposed CEO of Bodyform, played of course there by an actor, have gone viral. So where does this place the advertising of Sampro? Still, on the whole, coyly dripping blue ink all over the place. Well, Gail Parmenter is creative director of the ad agency Mad Women. Tiffany Maddox is from Rubber Republic, who made the Bodyform response, and they're both in Bristol. So Tiffany, why did you decide to respond in that way to Richard?
It was actually a collaborative thing. We were approached by a media agency called Carrot who wanted to respond to him in a way that was appropriate for the post, which had already gone massively viral by that stage. I think about 75,000 people had liked it, which was about 70,000 people more than actually liked the Bodyform page. So we wanted to make something humorous and funny as a response.
Gail, how successful is it likely to be as an ad because it has a sense of humour?
I think it's interesting because it isn't actually an ad, and I think one thing I'd like to say is that it's taken a man to make a comment for Bodyform to actually respond to the fact that the ads are sanitised and stereotyped. Women have been moaning about them for years. I think we've gone backwards since the great Dr. White's ads, which were actually really good. And I think that the viral, while it's very funny, and Tiffany and Rubber have done a great job at responding to the brief, it hasn't actually done anything for the future of sanitary towel advertising, because it's letting itself off the hook. It's essentially saying, because people can't cope with the reality, we're going to carry on doing these metaphors and stereotypes, and they've done it in a tongue-in-cheek way, and it is really funny, but I still think it's letting itself off. What
was good, Gail, about Dr. White?
Well, Dr. White's actually made women feel quite proud to have a period. I mean, the really famous one is the guy in the cami knickers and bra with his hand on his forehead, and it says, "Have you ever wondered how men would carry on if they had periods?" And it was actually talking about how, women are quite courageous to go through what we go through every month. But I think there has been a kind of a tactic in advertising to try and sanitise periods to such an extent that women don't feel normal if they don't actually have a happy period. Caitlin Moran actually says that every aspect of being a woman these days you have to hide. You can never leave a stain on a chair. That would be unthinkable, she says.
Tiffany, I mean, obviously you were helped in making this. I'll carry on calling it an ad, even though Gail doesn't think I really should.
It is an ad.
But obviously, Richard went viral, and then your response went viral. How would you start making an ad go viral?
It's the thing about Rubber Republic is that we are passionate about conversations that are already happening. So if we see an opportunity where something is already doing quite well online, and without sounding like an awful marketing company, we do see that as sometimes a good opportunity for a brand to have their say. So with this, we made it incredibly quickly. We turned it around very, very quickly. I think we got it on a Wednesday. By Thursday we were scripting it. By Friday we were organising the shoot. By Saturday it was shot. By Sunday it was edited. So we worked very, very fast, and I think that was probably one of the reasons why it went viral, because it was very responsive. And also we we felt that it was something that someone like Bodyform wouldn't really say. It wasn't a response that we thought that people would think was expected. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why it got picked up as well, that it was just the unexpectedness of it.
Gail, I noticed Lilette's have got a new campaign called Horny, which I saw in a magazine, which, to speak plainly, suggests masturbation as a cure for period cramps.
Yes.
How do you reckon they got away with that?
I'm not really sure how they got away with that, but just let me tell you that the managing director of Ligas Delaney, who made that ad, tweeted when the ad went live saying, "Great, well, good work, team. This is the first time I've got the word horny into an ad." So it does beg the question of why the reason behind doing this. Is it really empathy with women, or is it just to try and get a controversial ad out? I find it a little bit disturbing, a little bit confusing, because it's aimed at very young girls that are just starting their period, and it's trying to sexualise periods, so it's seeing it through a male lens. It's trying to sanitise it and sexualise it. It's like we sexualised everything else in a young girl's life, so let's sexualise periods as well. What are they going to give them, vibrating tampons next?
Gail, I can remember Claire Rayner's campaign in the early 90s, where she was saying, come on, let's be more honest about this. What kind of restrictions still apply to television advertising for SAMPRO?
Well, the reason why I say that the viral isn't an ad is because any TV ad has to go through Clearcast, and Clearcast is the regulator, which almost acts like a censor. And, there are certain things that we don't want to see on TV. But I think that the advertising industry is making a huge excuse here, because historically there have been lots of product sectors that have had restrictions placed on them, like cigarettes, condoms, alcohol. Yet we still had fantastic ads for those. In fact, almost the more restrictions that were put on them, the harder the creative teams tried to create really good advertising. So I think it is a bit of an excuse. I don't think the advertising industry really is that bothered about making good ads that are aimed at women for the sanitary protection sector. In fact, I know that Bodyform are out to pitch at the moment. If they're listening, I would suggest that they do talk to Mad Women and Tiffany about how they can better sell these products to women, because we're moving on. We've got Lena Dunham in Girls, we've got Caitlin Moran, we've got people voicing really what it's like to be a woman, and we should be giving them the advertising they deserve for what is a big part of a woman's life. It can be done without saying vagina, honestly.
Even Germaine Greer said, don't be ashamed of taking your tampons in your hand to the toilet. There's no need to hide them in the bag.
Absolutely,
and that was
agree.
ever such a long time ago.
Yes, and in the Lilette's ad, it's really interesting. They're talking about, obviously, masturbation, because they wouldn't be encouraging a under 16-year-old girl to actually have sex to achieve her orgasm that's going to cure her period pains. But then when you read the copy, it talks about, and we've put these Lilette's in little pretty pink packaging so no one will ever know. And it's a bit sad, isn't it, really?
Gail Parmenter, Tiffany Maddox, thank you both very much indeed for being with us this morning.